Step 10, assert yourself. Now, a lot of people make the mistake and believe that assert or asserting yourself or being assertive is the same as being aggressive. So I just want to put that right for you, those of you who believe that being assertive and being aggressive is the same thing, because it's so not the same thing. Being aggressive is obviously doing it in such a way that is offensive. Sometimes being aggressive is, you can be violent, you can be abusive, verbally abusive. And when we're aggressive, when we're trying to set our boundaries, it's often because we don't believe that we are allowed to set boundaries. Because being assertive is all about learning to say no to that which doesn't suit you, that which harms you, and it very much is based on putting yourself first. Now, this is sometimes a really hard thing to learn, specifically when it comes to women and parents, because we've always been taught that we need to put other people ahead of ourselves. We always think about our children first. We always think about our partners first, because we think that they are more important and that we need to take care of them. But the reality is that we have to take care of ourselves first in order to take care of other people. When we're taking care of our children, or anybody for that matter, it's so important to fill yourself up, fill up your own cup, feel strong within yourself, feel love within yourself. Self-care once again comes into this, because if you're running on empty and you don't have the energy to take care of other people, it's generally because you haven't taken the time to make sure that you are okay, that you are strong, that you are nourished, that you are loved, accepted, worthy, valuable, and all those things that you need that comes into your needs, which we spoke about earlier on. But it's very important for you to do all of that for yourself first. And this is where boundaries comes in. And often when we don't feel that we are worthy and we don't have great self-esteem, we seek our sense of importance, we seek our sense of value, we seek our sense of worthiness by getting that from other people. And generally what happens is we become people pleasers, because we feel that we've got to do something for other people to be liked. We've got to prove that we are likable. We've got to prove that we are enough. So we seek that from externally. We want that from other people instead of looking for that from ourselves and from the inside out. So as you can see, all the steps that I've discussed beforehand all come into play. So the kindness for yourself, the practicing of acceptance, listening to yourself. So not just listening to others, but listening to your body when your body needs to rest, when your body is tired, listening to your thoughts. So all the aspects, all the other steps that we've mentioned here beforehand, well, most of them, should I say, come into this step 10, where you have to practice putting yourself first. You've got to take care of yourself first before you take care of other people. It's all about learning to say no. And I know that this is sometimes such a difficult thing to do if you've always taken care of other people. Now, setting boundaries is not as hard as you may think, because it's in the way that you do it. So when you start valuing yourself, you then learn how to assert yourself, and you learn to set those boundaries and say no. So I just want to give you a little tip here on how to do that. So say, for instance, you are working for somebody else and your boss wants you to stay on at night or to work late, and you continuously requested to work late, but you're starting to feel tired and you're starting to recognize that, and you're going, you know what, I really would like to help my boss, but I feel tired, I feel exhausted, I would like to go home. What I always say to people that find it hard to say no is to react in a way where you go, I really would love to help you, but I have got plans, or I'd really would love to stay on, but I can't. I'm exhausted and I need to go home and rest. Now, here's the trick to make people or to get people to pay attention and to listen to you is when you change the subject straight afterwards. So if you're saying to somebody, I really would love to help you, but I can't. By the way, are you happy with such and such? So you don't give them an opportunity to try and manipulate you, to convince you to say otherwise or to stay. Because the chances are that if you have been a people pleaser up until now and people have got used to you always being around and always got used to you being available, you've kind of taught them how to treat you. So they're going to find it really hard in the beginning when you start setting your boundaries and you say no. So they're going to try and convince you otherwise. But when you start putting yourself first and your own needs first, that is when you are going to be changing the behavior. You're going to be changing the relationship with them. And that's why it's going to be a little bit hard for you and it's going to be a little bit hard for them. So with that technique or that tool that I've just given you, you are not allowing space or room for somebody to convince you otherwise. So you're being kind, you're saying it in a nice way, you're saying, you know what, I know that what you need is important, I can understand that, I'd love to help you, but I really can't on this occasion, and then you just stick to it. And as I say, you change the subject, and then you go, well, if there isn't anything else, I'm going to be going now. So it's all about being firm. And that is what it means to be assertive. There's absolutely nothing aggressive about it. If you find that you're starting to be angry and that you start expressing yourself in an aggressive manner with anger, when you start saying no and setting your boundaries, then it's time for you to take a look at this and go, why do I not feel like I have given myself permission to do this? Why do I not feel that I have the right to do this? Because when you feel that you aren't worthy, or you aren't enough, or you're not allowed to, or you should be available for anybody else, that all comes from somebody else's beliefs. Somebody else told you that you had to put other people first and that you didn't matter. And I'm going to give you a classic example of what happened in our household. So I was raised in a very religious home. I'm not religious at all, not anymore, but I was raised in a very religious home. And in Sunday school, there was this little chorus that they would make us sing. And the chorus was, Jesus first, yourself last, and others in between. So, and the chorus was called J-O-Y, 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 surely this must be Jesus first, yourself last, and others in between. Now, that was ingrained into my mind. And what that created was a belief. To be a good person, I had to always take care of other people first, and that I was always last. And you can see how that has made my life, or did make my life, really difficult for many, many years, because I always felt that for me to be worthy, for me to be accepted, for me to be enough, for me to be lovable, and all of those things that I've mentioned before, I had to please other people. Other people were more important than me. Other people's needs were more important than mine. So if you find yourself getting aggressive and angry about saying no or the way you do it, then just check in with your beliefs and check in with those other voices in your head, as I've said, because whenever you hear the word, I should do that, or I have to do that, that is coming from somebody else. That is not your value. That is not your belief. It's something that has been taught to you. And just because somebody else said it doesn't make it right. Right, so we've come to the end of the 10-step process of becoming emotionally intelligent, and well done. I hope you've done all the activities. You obviously need to do the activity for step 10. And if you haven't done any of the others or haven't completed them, please make sure that you have completed them first before you continue on with the course. Then come back and move on to the next section.